Hello and welcome to another episode of the Filmageddon Vodcast, episode 007. Do the thing. You did the thing. Do the thing.
Back to back.
Back to back.
Wait, shit, I'm the opposite
Go
way.
the other way. Although Bond doesn't do this, he works alone.
It's Charlie's Angels, you think?
Okay. Well, what number episode would that be? I guess.
We could figure out Charlie is 3. Yeah. That's 3. We can go through like the military alphabet. Charlie.
Alpha. Oh.
Haribo. Yeah. Whatever the rest are.
All the rest. So welcome to the Vodcast. We're back again. It is a Tuesday, which has become our de facto for doing one of these. And I'm here, Frank Soldato, Quizmaster. Adam Grundy over that way. I'm going to remember which way I need to point all the time. How's it going, Adam? Another week has passed. We've got the fresh taste of a recently completed film quiz still in our mouths.
Yes, it's in my mouth. It's swirling. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm starting to lose like sanity just in this flat. To be honest, I'm just tired now. Are you not tired all the time?
I set my alarm every day, and I always sleep through it as if like I am tired, but like I'm going to bed at normal times. I'm not like staying up till like 3 a.m. I'm going to bed at like 11 p.m. every night, and it's just like 11 p.m. till 7 a.m. And then I'm trying to keep it quite normal, but yeah, I sort of feel that it's quite draining because I think you're just not out and about as much anymore. Like when I'm out on my like one walk a day with the dog, it's like, oh, this is lovely, this is pleasant, I could do this all day. And then right when I get home, I'm like, I could go for a nap. A nap that takes me into the next day.
It's weird, like, having, like, all this time. I was speaking to someone, and we were talking about, like, oh, wish we could, like, get out there and film things and, like, work. You know, like, it'd be a good time if no one lost their jobs and everyone was, like, just, like, for a month was just, like, chilling out, doing nothing. But then also, you could go everywhere, and like shoot whatever you want and meet people and stuff. The sad thing is that a lot of people lost their jobs, and you can't go anywhere. And now I'm also just losing the will to live, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's an interesting times, and you know what? As long as that doggy gets his walks, then you know, he'll be happy. Or will you? Will you, Frank?
As every day passes, it becomes harder and harder. But what is quite good, what is keeping me occupied and happy at the minute is doing all this Filmageddon stuff, and most of it with you. But obviously, we did the quiz last week. We're not going to get into that too much. We've already talked about it quite a lot. But we are doing the quiz again this week, tomorrow, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. tomorrow, BST. First ever rewind quiz, which should be good. We think we've got all the kinks worked out. We'll see when everything inevitably blows up and catches fire and does all that. But we're doing a film quiz tomorrow, a film quiz which is wholly a unique idea, and only, from what I know, one person or group at a time can do a film quiz. Anyone else that does a film quiz is probably stealing the intellectual property of somebody, but regardless, we will be doing a film quiz that will be streaming every week, every Wednesday. The next few will be the rewind quizzes, and that's going to be over on twitch.tv/Filmageddon. We'll make sure to tweet all that out on our social media channels, because that's what we do. We try to do the jokes occasionally, and then we have to advertise ourselves occasionally. Right? That makes sense?
It does make sense. So thank you very much, Frank, for coming up with the idea of film quizzes. It's obviously something that was created only last week.
Yes.
Not something we've been doing for 6 years in an actual cinema.
Yes.
Not just a big screen, wherever that is. And it's going to be interesting for us because, you know, we always, every time we ever do a live quiz, we always make sure that, like, every you know, sometimes it's like returning question styles, I could say. You know, we've had, like, in the past when people come up on stage, you have, like, an IMDb bonus round. We have a lot of different, like, things that we will use our archetypes, but the questions are always unique. And, you know, you're not going to have one quiz 1 week in one location and another quiz in another location have the same questions, because then anybody could cheat. If it's me, I'd just go one quiz, and then cheat and do the other one.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? This is going to be very interesting for us to be doing something completely different and yet very similar, because these are questions that have come up before in our live quizzes, but a lot of people who've watched the last stream haven't actually been to any of the live quizzes. So this is a perfect chance. And if you have been to our live quizzes before, then you know what? Cheat if you want, if that's what it does. Morally, you will be sent to hell.
Yeah.
Someone will be waiting for you. Kim Jong-un will be waiting for you there. But, you know, at least you'll have the answers to some questions about catch me if you can.
You heard it here first. I mean, I do think, like, the best part is going to be that despite the fact that we've done these questions before, no one's going to remember them. No one's going to have taken notes during the quizzes. And it's quite a mix. I mean, we're going back all the way to 2014 for some of these rounds. I'll give you guys an exclusive here for the Vodcast. If you're planning to do the quiz, I'm going to reveal sort of what some of the topics are going to be, just to get your cogs turning here. So we're going to be doing some fictional sports stars. We're going to be talking some romantic comedies. We're going to have some animated film questions, film quotes from the 1970s, I think we'll leave it there. I don't want to give the whole horse away, but there's some of what you can look forward to seeing. And if you've been to our quizzes on and off for the past 5 or 6 years, that might make something click in your head, like, oh yeah, I do remember this. And maybe like I said, I don't think it's going to help anybody in the long run, because all of these, once you finish with a film quiz, it's behind you, unless you've got like that 1 or 2 questions that really eats away at you because you lost by 1 or 2 points. But I think, so 7 o'clock, like we said, on Twitch, we'll make sure to let everybody know everything. There's going to be a Google form answer sheet, all that good stuff again. We will see you there. But, Adam, guess what? We're gonna do the show. We're making this show. The show's evolving, right? As we do.
Really?
Yeah. We've been flying by the seat of our pants for a while. I don't know if you know this, but I come from a television production background. I think you can tell by the high quality of the show that we put on already. But we're bringing even more quality to it by bringing you different segments now. And here we go. Our first segment with its first introduction. It's time to see some of the latest breaking news from around the entertainment industry. That's right, it is Plucked from the Headlines with me, your host, Frank Soldado, and my co-host, Adam Grundy. We're going to be taking a look at all the latest and greatest headlines from around the world. My headphones have come off. I need to take this off. I'm dying.
I think I can hear. Do you know what? I find like this is what my Purge kind of outfit would be. Just this horrible chicken head, and just the thing is, when I bought this, I think it's only for, like, children. So, like, I think it's supposed to, like, this beak bit is supposed to sit where the eyes are. And so if you put it on, it's basically the texture of a tea cozy.
Yeah.
And you can't see how it just boils, and it's 37 degrees here, so I might take mine off, too.
I think it's for the best if you take it off. We see, you see what we're doing? We got costumes, we got intros to segments now. This show is where it's at, people. So, yeah, Plucked from the Headlines. Every week we'll take a look at some of the newest headlines from around the world of entertainment. TV, movies, video games, all that good stuff. We'll give it a try, and we're going to see what we're going to start with first here. So first up, we're going to take a look at what Cary Funkunaga has told Interview, which is some of the stuff he's put this new meeting on Interview. Adam really scared me. I thought he was frozen, which I was trying to fill air, so thanks for making me do that. So here we go. From Interview, a new interview with the director of the upcoming No Time to Die, which was delayed. It's a really interesting read. He talks about the fact of how he had to come in after Danny Boyle. He had to try to meet a release date, which he was nervous that they were going to hit. He's saying how it sort of really... It didn't mess with him so much, but it just made him... I think the quote was, it made him feel like this constantly moving animal to becoming an inanimate object. And I don't really know how to take that, apart from maybe he just didn't have a good time working in the studio system quite as much. But the big quote here, which I thought was interesting, right here, is that he had this idea originally, which to me sounds like an amazing idea that I would have been down for, where taken the last act of Spectre and like the first act or two of this film and made it take place all inside James Bond's head, because there's a part in Spectre where he gets injected with a needle, which is supposed to make him forget everything. It says right here, it's supposed to make him forget, and then he miraculously escapes by a watch bomb. And then they go up to blow up the place and go on to save the day. And his thoughts was, what if everything from that needle up until Act 2 of his film all took place in his head? And I just think that could be, like, because Spectre had its problems, it definitely was like it was a downer after the upper of Skyfall. And a lot of people are hoping No Time to Die is going to be more along the lines of Skyfall or Casino Royale. It's like every second Bond movie with the Daniel Craig ones is shit for some reason. And so we're hoping for a good one here. I would have loved this idea. I think that would have been something really interesting for them to do, which has never been done in a Bond film or really in any franchise before that I can remember. I mean, what are your thoughts on this one, Adam?
No, it's interesting. Like I'm certainly of the Bond camp. The sillier, the better. The whole I always love whenever you watch anything about Bond, and it always gets to the point where they're like, but the series got too silly, and then it'll show like the fucking invisible car and everything and all that stuff, and you think, that's kind of like my favorite bit. That's my favorite tone to it. I'd rather watch something so silly that doesn't take itself too serious. I do think that the Daniel Craig ones have kind of progressed. Like they kind of did start from zero, and now they've kind of progressed to the point where like the introduction of Q is like organic.
He's
and
got
like
gadgets
by going,
now, you know.
He's got gadgets in it, but it's like it's organic, and it's like, let's just see. I hope that Ben Whishaw kind of like stays in that part and grows throughout all these different Bonds coming in and stuff. So yeah, no, it just sounds interesting, and it's also just so wacky an idea that I'd want it to work, but then, and I think that's fine to end on. Spectre could have ended on that, and you would have still had that kind of like everyone leave the cinema happy or sad or whatever. But to then start and then Act 2 into a film. We've seen how long it takes for these James Bond films to come out. There's usually a 3 or 4 year gap between them now. So then to go like, oh yeah, please now just hold it there. Now I'll be back in 4 years. Remember what I told you? It's relying on people, because a lot of the good thing I think about James Bond is that it being self-contained. I don't mind when like characters kind of crop up from like time to time, like Jaws or whatever, in like this one, that one, whatever. But like not having it so it's like you have to watch the last one like specifically. Like at this point, I hear Vesper's name one more time, I'm gonna fucking shoot myself.
Well, this series, since it's rebooted, it's taken a very serialized approach to it, hasn't it? Like I always like that about the originals. You could just pop, a lot like Godzilla and that series. You could just pop one in. It took place in it almost felt like each film was its own continuity, its own universe. And then with Casino Royale, amazing. And then we were all sort of hoping the next one was going to be just as amazing. I didn't really expect it to connect. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, this is a direct sequel. And then after that, they've all been sort of carrying on this story. And it becomes a bit of an issue. Like I was talking about John Wick on the podcast, where the more they have to put films with the same storyline, the more straws they're grasping for to try to make it coherent. And it's like, oh, you thought he was the one that was up to it? No, there was someone behind him. And then there was someone behind him. Oh, he was behind both of those guys. And then so now what they're going to do with Rami Malek is it's like, he's the son of him, and you pissed him off because you did him a wrong, and now his son's... It's very strange.
There's also that whole thing with Bond is that, like, they had such... When you actually take a step back, there is a little bit of hit and miss with some of the bad guys in it. The villains, I should say, but, like, and the henchwomen, but it's... When you strike it right in the new ones, it's like having, like, a newer character come in, like, say, like, Batista with his fucking metal thumbs.
Mr. Hinks.
And that's it. And I'm like, that's so stupid, but he's such an action star, and then to give him something that's so Bondish that like, ooh, and the man with metal fingernails, not fingers.
Yeah.
And I love that because it's an original thing, and you can imagine kids being like, I'm going to be that, or, being in like the games and stuff like Nightfire or Agent, what was it? Agent After Dark?
Agent Under Fire.
Agent Under Fire.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, or GoldenEye.
I've heard of that.
I want to play that. I want to play that character. What does fuck me off is that like this commitment to being like, we need to make it like serialized. Is that the rumor that sort of Remy Malek's character is actually going to be Dr. No?
Yeah.
And you're like, but you already met him. When it happens and they reference older films, say what was the Pierce Brosnan film where, I think it's Pierce Brosnan, where he's walking through Q's big garage. I think maybe it was when they had John Cleese as R, and it was just dumb as fuck. And
it's one of the last two. Was it like The World Is Not Enough?
Maybe, and he's got, you can see like the jetpack from like from Russia with Love, and I think when that happens, it's like oh cool, it's all together, but it doesn't need, and there are certain characters that will always be in it, like sort of Felix and whatever. But I can't be arsed with all the serialization of it. So I do feel like that way of you would only be able to really get what's going on if you'd seen the last one. I think it's put a lot more confidence in an audience. Yeah,
I mean, I think like that rumor, obviously with Remy Malek being Dr. No, I think it's either it's a big bait and switch, or it is just going to be that on the nose, because like they did the same with Blofeld. It's like, he's not going to be Blofeld. He's not going to be Blofeld. Look, he doesn't have a scar. He's not going to be Blofeld. Oh, he's Blofeld. Now he's got the scar. And like with this, it's just like, well, I've seen clips of him wearing basically the same costume. No is in the title. It's like, just say what you're going to do. I hate this shit like Star Trek Into Darkness. Like, his name's John Smith or whatever the hell. He's not Khan. He isn't Khan. Oh, he's Khan. Okay, good. Fine.
That's a fucking good point, man. It's the exact same shit, and like, I think it's being scared of the backlash because they want you to buy the ticket, and then when you're in there, go like, got ya. Whereas like, if you'd said at the start, oh, by the way, he is going to be playing Blofeld, and I know it makes no sense because Bond is continuous. Bond, this whole thing with like, okay, so this is kind of like, actually, this is kind of like a prequel to Bond. You're like, well, he's got a laptop. Like, can't we all just live in this fantasy world where Bond is this man who's technically at this point should be like 200 years old?
He doesn't age. He's found the fountain of youth.
Just let it play out, but treat everything as a sequel to the last. It's so hard. It's so hard to please everyone, because even me now is saying like, treat it as a sequel. Well, but don't treat it too much like a sequel. I don't want to have seen the last one. It must be fucking difficult. No wonder they pull shit like that and being like, wait, and now he's Blofeld's half brother. But wasn't he like in some orphanage, just something like Skyfall or whatever? Like,
we went skiing together. No. Here's a terribly photoshopped picture of us. Ah, great, yeah.
That's the same line that all those, like, when you say when you've never kissed a girl and you're like in like year 7. It's like, oh, and who've you kissed? And you're like, yeah, someone on holiday. You don't know them. Blofeld.
Blofeld. It should be interesting to see how or where this franchise goes after this, because obviously, right, Daniel Craig's going to be gone. And assumedly we'll get a new James Bond, and then we'll start something again. Like, I think they got to do one of two things, right? They can't have their cake and eat it too. Either go back to being like one-off films, because even Pierce Brosnan, though that era of films was in an era where they could have done a serialized thing, but they didn't do a serialized thing. Every film when Pierce Brosnan was in them felt unique. But with with the next guy, they've either all got to feel unique, or somehow they're just going to be like, oh no, Vesper again. Oh wait, you're still depressed about Vesper even though you're like 20 years younger and a completely different actor. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I am looking forward to No Time to Die. I think the people behind it, like most Bond films, seems like a good hit. So I just wish it was coming out and I'd already seen it instead of waiting until November. So
that's true. That's true. But hey, it's going to be like that with every single film right now. So
well, let's move on. Something else that was in the headlines, less newsworthy, more just interesting, I thought. James Gunn. We all know James Gunn. We enjoy some of his films, maybe not others. And Anyway, he released a list over on Twitter, which I thought was quite cool. All the action movies that he suggests to watch in quarantine. And it's a very extensive list. He did it in a little thread here. Have you had a chance to read through any of these? Like, I was looking through the list, and I thought to I always think to myself, I like a good action movie. I'm an action film viewer. I watch a lot of them, a lot of those sort of movies, and yet a lot of these I have not seen. So, I have seen a lot of them, but there are gaping holes in my film viewing, apparently, according to James Gunn.
I mean, like, there's some on there that I'll never watch, like 71, couldn't be asked. There's definitely some things on there. I guess, like, Battle Royale is, like, one of, like, the best sort of things, but then, and, I quite like the sequel, even though it's probably not the best thing. But yeah, no, like, Lady Vengeance, I think you mentioned as well, and that's, like, I think it's one of those kind of films that you just forget about to your own peril. Because when you go back, you're like, holy shit, each time you watch it, it feels, unless you're, like, obsessive, like, each time feels like the first time with it. So, yeah, I think he's a fucking well good call with that. I fucking loved Kill Bill Volume 1, Defend It to the Hills, even though I know people say it's very polarizing, I guess. But yeah, no, there's definitely some there. What about you? Crank,
yeah, I highlight Crank. It's obviously one that we've talked about a bit. There's a lot of... most of them that he talks about, I like, for instance, how he's gone Bourne Ultimatum, because it is the best of the Bourne films. And I think if I'm looking at this list, I was going to try to say, can you distill it down? Can you pick one film off of this list that you would say, that you would put above all the others? So there's, X amount, I don't know, five little posts here of films. Are there any that have stood out to you that could be the top for you? Not to say, don't tell the people at home this is the best one, but for you, what is the one that you would want on a desert island?
That's it. The desert island thing is it's a hard one because you compare, like, The Matrix and Die Hard are completely different things. Fucking Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is so different to fucking North by Northwest that, like, it's so, in a way, it's, what defines the greatest action film? I guess it's just whatever appeals to your personal taste. And for me, I'm pretty much, I'm just someone who wants, like, sort of the rhythm of it to keep going. So, it's fucking, man, I'm looking at all, there's so much good stuff on there. But Crank's number one. Like, that is funny as shit. Okay, if I was on a desert island, it might get boring. But if I watch the fucking Fury Road and that's on a desert island, I'll still be like, oh god, here we go, we're in the cars again. Oh yeah, the guy's doing his fucking drum beat shit. So yeah, I'm fucking hands down Crank, one of the best films ever made. That's right, ever made. What about you, Fred?
Oh, here we go. Crank's good. I don't know if it'd be the desert island. Bourne Ultimatum is pretty amazing, although then you sort of want to have the other ones to build up to that story, except no one wants to watch the second one. The second one is like a boring drama. It's probably Kill Bill. I don't know these polarized people, but I'm not one of them. I love both of those films, and I could probably... I think in the later years since the films come out, I've watched part 2 more than I've watched the first one, but I think the first one... for being a part of a 2-part story, the first one is quite self-contained. You can just watch that. It can end and you can be like, oh, I want to see more. But if they never made a Kill Bill Volume 2, like if this was like a weird 70s movie where some studio was like, we'll make the first one, then we'll make the second one when we got time, and then they run out of money and it closes down, you'd be like, oh man, could you imagine what the second one could be? And then every person who's watched part 1 can make up a different film in their mind. So I think Kill Bill Volume 1 for me on this list.
Well, I can't believe this is the most we've ever agreed on anything, really, to be honest. And there's no... This is bad television as someone who's producing it. We should have picked something that's completely...
I hate Kill Bill! Damn Quentin Tarantino and his whining over people not understanding Death Proof. Listen to the Filmageddon podcast for more!
I guess this also helps if, like, I would then care about it. It's like, I hate it. Like, I don't care what you think about it. It's nothing to do with you. It's to do with me. So, yeah, this is very no conflict, very positive podcast.
This is.
As always.
As always. We're very positive here on the Vodcast. We don't take swipes at anybody else. We would never take a swipe at anybody, whether they be people who go to watch films for a living and write words about them. If you got your own opinions on the level of quality of certain film quizzes, we don't care. We just don't care. We would never strike you down in anger. But anyway, let's move on to another one here. BossLogic. Have you heard of BossLogic?
Yes.
Is that a legit yes? It sounded like a setup yes.
No, it wasn't actually. I don't follow him or her, whatever. But it's one of those things that always crops up, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, like when something's shared so much, so you don't have to bother with it. You just like
you're aware of it. It's in your feeds. Well, obviously, BossLogic does a lot of cool fan art and posters and stuff like that. And this isn't news in any way. It's just a funky headline. Obviously, after hearing the news that Sam Raimi was going to direct the next Doctor Strange and the Mountains of Madness, he did a nice fan art here of who he thinks Bruce Campbell could play. And as someone, as both of us are quite familiar with the source material here, we got Mr. Sinister. We've not seen him done properly in film yet. I mean, I guess Richard E. Grant was the closest we got. But I wouldn't necessarily go for this casting, but I never actually thought of the idea that Mr. Sinister could fit into this film, and now that's all I want. I just want Mr. Sinister to show up.
Yeah, God, I think like the thing with Mr. Sinister is that like growing up and like my first thing was never to read comics because I didn't know where to buy them, if I'm honest, and I was a kid. Then we found out that like a wallpaper shop in Wigan used to sell them. So my first thing for like Mr. Sinister and all the X-Men was like the animated series. Yeah. So I didn't realize like how deep Mr. Sinister's story goes and his whole backstory and everything until I started reading the comics. And yeah, it's just I think for this kind of film, for like a Doctor Strange, and there is the whole kind of access to different worlds, multiverses, whatever. Like this, I imagine they're looking for a point that makes sense to bring all the X-Men in. Because it is a cash cow they're just leaving there. People were turning out to watch these X-Men films. Fucking patient zero here. To go in, even though like each time it was dog shit. And then you go, well, next time better. And it was never better. It may be once. They throw you a bone. They throw you Logan or whatever. And you're like, oh, that was great. Let's do more of that. Oh, no, we're back to this. Okay. The Dark Phoenix again. Great. So having something like will like give them access to bring them in organically that makes sense, rather so that they're not just coming through a portal being like, and we're here. That would be a bit silly. So I think having something like bringing Mr. Sinister in, if they do go down that route, would be great. I don't know if they're out Bruce Campbell. I love him to fucking death, but he's only got one way of acting, and I can't see it as Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, I'm assuming he'll be in the film as a cameo. I'd love it if he should cameo. if we're doing multiverses, he should cameo as his character from the Spider-Man trilogy, the original Spider-Man trilogy.
Which one? Did he play like he played the ring announcer?
They were all the same character. This is it. He was a failed actor. He was gonna end up being Mysterio in Spider-Man 4, and so think about it, because he was a ring announcer. And then he was a usher at a theater, and then he was the snooty waiter. That is like the downward career path spiral of a failed actor. And that he could have been Mysterio in Spider-Man 4. Actually, I think there's storyboards out there that show he was going to be Mysterio and like be captured at the very start of the movie because he's like a joke villain. But then, hey, Far From Home comes along and Mysterio's cool, kids! Wow! But yeah, I don't know who Bruce Campbell could play in it. I think it'd be cool. Obviously, I just want to see Mr. Sinister, and this multiverse film is probably the way to get X-Men characters into the MCU properly. If it ever happens, if they ever are able to make films again, this is the way to do it. Open up a couple of portals, have some short little guy with hairy knuckles and a bad haircut show up, and then it's game on. That's what I say.
Robin Williams.
Well, okay. Yeah, I guess. That's clever. I like it. I just feel a bit deflated by it, if I'm honest. I can't. I've got nothing to say. I'm not prepared. You're shooting these off the cuff, and you've taken me by surprise. So let's move on to the next story. More film delays. Hooray! Yay!
It never ends or begins.
This one was I was sort of waiting for this to become official, but obviously they just started filming the new Batman film before everything kicked off with the old Corona. And now they finally pushed it back. It was going to come out in the summer of 2021. Now they've pushed it back to October of 2021. So, I mean, it was already over a year away, and now it's a year and a half away because obviously they were maybe like 2 or 3 weeks into production. People got to see how amazing that new Batsuit was in some leaked images. Maybe now they go away, they redesign that thing, they start filming again. They've only lost like 3 weeks, you know? I didn't have a problem with it. I still feel like in an official image maybe it would look good, but I don't really care either. I don't.
And that's the thing. You've seen, like, we've all seen so many different like types of Batman, and you know what, like, just go along with the ride, and if it sucks and if you don't like it and no one likes it, it'll get rebooted. It's not the end of the world. It's not like when the original Batman came out. If that had stunk, there wouldn't have been another one, at least for a good number of fucking decades. So, you know what? If you don't like the look of a suit, get over it. If you don't, you know, unless it's something I like, then it's important.
That's true. Some other films have gotten delayed announced by WB, including King Richard, which is, I believe, about Serena and Venus Williams' trainer, their dad. I think that's starring Will Smith. The Flash, apparently not fast enough to get in that January release date of 2022. It's now moved back to March. Shazam 2. Hey, kids like Shazam. That was also coming out in January 2000. Oh, no, shit. I'm reading these dates in the UK way. This is the American way. No, I'm not. I'm so confused right now. So it says The Flash moves from 07/01/22, which I was reading as January 7th, to 06/03/22, which is March 6th. But...
okay.
But then it says Shazam is moving from 04/01/22 to 11/04/22. So is Shazam only delayed by 7 days or a couple of months?
It's gotta be the month, dude. It has to be the month.
But how could the Flash go from being released in July to June? So they've actually...
Because it's moved forward, because he's fast. He can go through time. I don't know.
That was in Batman vs. Superman. He ran through time.
Woo! I'm here! And then he's there and he's just choking like that fan that he choked the other week. Am I talking about the same person? Didn't Ezra Miller just choke someone in the street?
Oh, here is another headline. I wasn't ready for this one. Ezra Miller choking people in the street. He's crazy.
It did. It happened. The video's out there, dude. It's like he's fighting with someone and then he just grabs her and chokes her and then it's fucking. It's actually 2 weeks ago or something.
Should be at least 2 meters away from people at that point, surely.
Okay, well maybe it was 3 weeks ago. 2020 has moved so fast, like The Flash, that a Hollywood actor choking someone in the streets is just I forgot about it. I went over my head there. And the situation right, rightfully this man should be kept away from acting. You've clearly broken the barrier. You shouldn't be fucking doing that. You should be charged if anything. But you just totally forgot because everything's happening. Is Kim Jong-un dead? I don't know. We don't know. He might be dead by the end of this podcast.
Could be.
Maybe I will.
Who knows? Speaking of Robert Pattinson, here we go. A bit of news. Not news. None of this is news. Robert Eggers reveals the original pitch for The Lighthouse, and it's very horny, says Collider. I found this pretty funny. So in this interview, he was talking about the pitch process to get The Lighthouse made, and he says right here, there wasn't really much of a pitch. There was convincing to do it on 35mm black and white negative, and there was also some full frontal male nudity in erection, and they were like the studio. It can be black and white and weird and all that stuff, but it can't be rated NC-17. And now I feel like That is the log line. That is the pitch for every A24 film. It can be weird and all that other stuff, but it just can't be NC-17. No penetration. You can show everything else, and it doesn't have to make a lick of sense. It could be in black and white. You could do it vertical format. You could do it. It could be silent. It could be all dark. It's just a radio play, but no full frontal, no erections,
no bushes. No, it's. I mean, it makes sense. If I was going to pump money into a project, I would want.
Can't make that. NC-17, too much pumping.
Exactly, too much bump and grind. I think it makes sense. And also, I watched The Lighthouse, and I don't know if at any point I would have gone, this film needs a dick waving now. Okay, Bruno needed it. That's fine. And there are probably, maybe some like the live action version of like the Jungle Book. If King Louis has like his knob just dangling around or whatever, brushing along the floor. I don't know why he's that hung. He's a fucking massive monkey, that probably would have been that would make narrative sense because at least there could have been a shot of like Baloo and like Mowgli just being like, lovely, like that. That would have been fine, but just in The Lighthouse it wouldn't have made sense, and also it would have. They're already trying to sell a fucking movie that is like black and white, so that instantly turns off like 50% all the morons basically, and then you go
square. Let's remember square format as well.
Okay, well, no, people who fucking plebs don't know about formats. They just go like, film
4:3.
Tele. Exactly. So then, but then it's like, okay, it's a little bit of a weirder one. Like, I tried to fucking tell like some people about it, and like, yeah, okay, sounds all right. And I'm like, it's fucking good. So it's hard to sell. And if you then on top of that, it's like, yeah, no, you see, it's like loads of dicks. Okay, well now no one's gonna advertise for it. So
right there, day one. I can't wait for the masturbation scene in the Batman. There's not enough of showing what Batman really would do. Bruce Wayne is a loner. He really can't have a relationship. They're always showing him on the arms of these girls, but he doesn't bring them home. He goes home to a house with this decrepit old butler and a couple of little boys running around. He's in his bedroom. I guarantee you, when he's not Batmaning, he's wanking, and I want to see that scene.
I want to see it as well. I want to see maybe have sort of branded Johnnies of sorts. I'd like to see maybe Alfred comes and cleans him up afterwards.
He's the one guy wiping down.
I'll bring Damien in now. No. Yeah.
Well, there you go. This is the Vodcast, everybody. This is what we are. We wear it on our shoulders. It's right here. Something about Robert Pattinson.
Already be called.
Anyway, one last bit of headline news for me. It's not. Again, none of this is news. But Mike Manola, the creator of Hellboy, the illustrator of Hellboy, something I tweeted it out from Filmageddon's Twitter the other day. I just think this is a fun little thing. One of those daily things to help keep your mind off of it all. He's been illustrating images over on Twitter, and basically he does like an illustration or two a day. You can see some of it here. Obviously, Hellboy, his creation, right? You'd think he would draw Hellboy, obviously. But then he started getting in from original creations to things like Marvel characters. I mean, you got cool Ant-Man. And obviously, Mignola's style is like cool because it's so interesting and unique. Like, it's a style that is like praised for not being super ultra hyper realistic. It's just when you think Mignola, it instantly jumps to your mind how he draws, and there's not a lot of comic artists out there, I would say, like that. And just some of the characters he gets to, like superheroes. We got Cthulhu in a top hat, which I quite liked. Have you been following along with any of this?
I only saw after you shared the link. It's you're right. It's there's.
Got Fred Flintstone.
My like that. See, that one's so fucking cool, and it just works because of the fucking haircut. To be honest, it could have been anybody else.
Dino is just like the thing of nightmares.
Yeah. Every time you do that, I'm always just thinking your dog's about to come in. Like that dog of yours was barked so much that you've now just like got it in your mind. No, I think it's good, and like he's obviously got such a style. There's so many artists out there like who are like either they've got their own style, but his is so cool. It's so cool when it's someone who's like they don't fucking work though. it's so good that like during this time to just be like doing stuff like that, and because it's like having like an adaptation that's never going to come true.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to be given a fucking ultra. Oh, by the way, can you please draw this Ultraman animated film that we're going to be doing? So yeah, it's good.
It's also it's for charity as well. So during the times they start an eBay auction for these sketches with 100% of the proceeds going to a couple of charities there. I mean, I'd love to get one of these originals on the wall. I think I know for a fact he's done. So we've got Ultraman and stuff here. He's done a Godzilla. I'd love that. Godzilla wearing a jingle bell, obviously. Godzilla wearing a top hat and having a smoke. Yeah. And Godzilla just singing. And, God, they're so good. There's loads of Marvel characters. Groot. I think he started doing serial characters. There's like a Tony the Tiger.
I thought you meant from fucking the podcast. I was like, wait, Adnan?
He's going to get, depending how long this goes, he might get to that. Oh, look, he's got a vacuum from the Flintstones.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, just if you got a chance, go follow him. It's just, they're quite cool. Some people have taken to coloring them in, which is great. Yeah, well, here's the Tony the Tiger that someone colored in. Again.
Oh, that's fucking well cool.
If Tony the Tiger looked like that, I mean, if I love cereal, I mean, I do love cereal. Mr. Peanut looking like he might do stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
He's alive again, isn't he? Remember when he died
for a little bit, and then they brought him back because of commercialism and
the baby. He's the baby now. He is
the baby. Anyway, there you go. That is the news for today. Everybody will be back with the news next week. Wait, we shouldn't have these on, I just realized, because we're out of the news now. We should only have these on in the news. We made a mistake there. This won't happen again.
Mama's backwards.
So there you go. Plucked from the headlines the first week. Did you guys like that? Kind of a bit interesting, kind of a bit slapped together, but it gives us some sort of structure anyway. Adam, before we go today, we've already been talking for a while here. Before we go, what is worth mentioning? I think we are going to talk about our schedule, our streaming schedule, because we're trying to put together a streaming/video schedule for YouTube and Twitch and everything. So it's probably worth, because it's going to be mostly me and you, so we should probably be on the same page here, I think.
We should try.
Well,
we should try and keep it locked down. And you know what? It's very interesting to do it together. Yours is in middle of afternoon. The world's your oyster, except you can't leave. And mine is in the evening. So that's the difference. The big difference. The only difference.
It's pretty rough. And that's why I tried to keep some of this to... We didn't put any times on here, but here's basically what we're going to try doing. Now, this is what we're going to be doing hopefully every week for at least the next few weeks. I don't know how long everything's going to last. I don't know if there's going to be the support there, but we're going to give it a try anyway. So Monday, we're going to try to do just some casual PS4 gaming streams. So all this is going to be over on our Twitch and some of it on YouTube. Twitch for the streams. Like yesterday, we played some Call of Duty Warzone, which we enjoy. Me and Adam and our other friends, we really much enjoy that game. I think we're on it basically every day. The game will probably change every week. We might play Warzone again. We might play Star Wars sometimes. It's whatever takes our fancy. It's not a produced thing. We just throw the PlayStation on, hit broadcast. You can't see us. You can just hear us. Just a bit of fun if you like the kind of jokes that we do, which, you know, talking about Batman masturbating for 5 minutes probably isn't helping that. You could tune into that. Tuesdays, which is today,
there was a bit yesterday about
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say there was a bit yesterday where we were like talked in depth about like a character who would choose like someone to invite to their dinner. The like celebrity, like, oh, which 5 people would you invite for dinner? It went on for like 20 minutes about just this idiot person we'd imagined who would invite Hitler. Which, that didn't... After a while, I was like, why are we still doing this?
Well, it started... it turned into dinner. It started at an elephant walk, so...
Oh, no, it did.
And Jesus. If you don't know what those are, which apparently a lot of people over in this country don't, give it a Google, and you'll not regret it, I don't think.
Or tune in on
so Tuesdays is the vodcast. That's what we're doing right now. The first podcast of the week, that's probably going to be the headlines. It'll be us doing a bit of housekeeping, bit of fun, bit of levity to liven up the start of the week. And then Wednesdays are really the big day with our weekly film quiz. It says here on this schedule it's the weekly rewind quiz, but that will obviously change every 3 or 4 weeks when we do the new lockdown live stream quiz. I gotta remember the way we're branding all this stuff. So the first one is tomorrow at 7 p.m. and then every week at 7 p.m. The streams will be live from 6:30, so we'll have a countdown again. Get in, get settled, get your team together, get some drinks, get some food, all that good stuff. Have a fun time. And yeah, those quizzes are going to be like 90 minutes to 2 hours, and should be a good way to spend your Wednesday evening, or hey, if you're in British Columbia, your Wednesday early afternoon. Thursday we've put day off. We might do stuff, but we're not. That in all likelihood I'll be grading quizzes on that day. So, and then Friday we will come back with a quiz recap vodcast, which will hopefully be us telling you who won the quiz, going through some of the scores, some of the funny answers, the high scores, all that good stuff. Saturday, another day where we're not sort of committing to anything. And then Sunday is quite interesting because we're going to be doing another stream, straight to video game stream. Does that ring a bell to you, Adam? Straight to video game?
It does. It's a stop-start series, much like everything on Filmageddon. But no, we've done it in the past, and we did a few streams kind of on the straight to video game where we kind of go through and we'll play games that are inspired or not inspired, are basically direct sequels to films or adaptations, I should say. Adaptations of film games. We try to just keep it just to film. No, we won't try, we just do. We keep it to film games. So yeah, in the past we've done stuff like Rocky. We've done stuff like the new Friday the 13th, which resulted in us being hunted by children.
Yes, it was terrifying.
Yeah, there's so yeah, this one's going to be, we used to do it kind of like our old sort of shot for shot. We were like all three of us together just playing and stuff. But yeah, no, this one's going to be, we're going to try and put a vote up, see if who would like what game to be played. Yeah. We're mainly playing like old NES, SNES, the older stuff. That's when it was good because it's a lot like older film memorabilia before like Disney could like throw their like branding on everything, like when it was just kind of a bit of a slapdash to make stuff and here's a C-3PO pencil sharpener. I quite like that about like those era video games. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a little bit different, a little bit more like rawer games and stuff. So it'll be Frank playing. You might hear me or the voice of this chicken. Who knows?
Buck off. It was one of those things that we tried back in the day. And a few people watched them. They didn't get massive views, let's be honest, or else we probably still would have been doing them. But I think now, especially with us all being locked in and with us streaming a bit more and actually having the capabilities. Back then, we didn't really have the capabilities to stream. And now we can. Like, I've set up the system in here where I can get the old sort of games playing, get it captured. We can have me and Adam in there. Like I said, it's probably going to be, for the most part, me playing, but then me and Adam are going to be carrying on a conversation. Because let's be honest, I'm not a streamer. And me just playing a game, talking to myself, you don't want to see that because it's going to be me overstretching to try to get a laugh. And it's not going to work most of the time, where at least me and Adam, we can bounce off each other a bit. And we'll talk about the games themselves, but also about the movies that those games are based on and like what they mean to us. Maybe there'll even be some trivia as part of it. I think Adam will be maybe throwing out some facts and figures. Who knows? It should be a good time. Hoping it'll be a good time. We're going to try it anyway. I think the first one we'll try is this Sunday. We'll see if that day and time works. Probably just going to do it in the afternoon because we're not trying to get primetime views here. We're just trying to have a bit of fun. And if people want to join us along the way, then great. Yay. Yeah.
Come on, come and join.
Join us.
The booze ban is still on over here, but I'll try and have a fair few drinks. Then you know what? If it's mid-afternoon or Sunday, you're not going anywhere on the Monday. You may as well just have a fucking, have a little drinky poo.
Well, what are you saying, Adam? That an episode of the Vodcast for us?
I think so.
All right. Well, before we go, one more reminder to everybody at home. Here you go. Follow us on Twitter at Filmageddon Quiz. Boom. Instagram, we are Filmageddon. YouTube, subscribe to that sucker. We do have videos coming out there. I know it does seem like we are focusing on streaming and on Twitch, but we're going to have cut downs of some of the longer things. Plus, there is still original content going up there, including a nice little video that Adam put together about the crazy rich Asians filming locations. And Hey, look, there's a little preview of it, but to watch the whole thing, you got to go over to our YouTube. Oh, he's gone now.
Yes. Yeah, there it is. It was fun place to go for a visa.
All right, cool. That does it for us here. Episode 7 of the Vodcast is officially done and dusted. Thank you, everybody, if you stuck with the viewing of this throughout the end. We hope to see you at the quiz tomorrow, Wednesday, the 22nd at 7 p.m.
Sure.
So for me, Frank, from him, Adam, thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.